melts the road to gold.
New faces arrive with stories untold.
The air is thick, but the dreams are wide.
South African hearts crossing the tide.
Safe in liberty's embrace, where the stars and stripes find space. Sweat rolls down, but the hope runs deep. Alabama heat, Alabama heat. They carry talent in battered bags. No corruption here to plant new flags.
From the ashes of crime they rise.
With courage burning brighter than skies.
The past may haunt,
But the future sings. Freedom hums on broken wings. Safe in liberty's embrace, where the stars and stripes find space. Sweat rolls down, but the hope runs deep. Alabama heat,
Alabama heat.
Alabama
Humidity hugs like an old ghost.
But here they stand, a living toast to freedom's soil, to the promised land. With callous hands, they take a stand. Alabama heat. Alabama heat, Alabama
Stay off my lawn, it's not a campsite. No FEMA tents, no late night fights. No refugees, no wild parades.
No
This
refugees.
castle's mine, no renegades. Hit the road, Jack, don't spin me tail. Your liberty's lost like rusty nails.
Stay off my lawn.
Keep
Keep it moving, keep it gone. No flags, no biltong. No fires, no song. Sorry,
sorry, stay
off my lawn.
Keep it moving, keep it gone. No flags, no biltong. No fires, no song. Sorry, not sorry, stay off my lawn.
My lawn,
Sorry, not sorry, stay off.
my lawn, my lawn.
Drying laundry on my hedge fence. Drawing crowds with your nonsense. This ain't a stage, it's my domain. Take your drama down the lane. Pitch your tent where the shadows fall. Not on my grass, not by my wall. No soapbox speeches, no rally calls. This yard's a fortress you can't install. Stay
Off my lawn.
Keep it moving, keep it gone. No flags, no biltong. No fires, no song. Sorry, not sorry, stay off my lawn. Keep it moving, keep it gone. No flags, no biltong. No fires, no song. Sorry, not sorry, stay off my lawn.
My Lord,
Sorry, not sorry, see off.
my Lord, my Lord. Stay off, my Lord.
Keep it
Keep moving, keep it going.
No flags, no biltong.
No bitong.
No fires, no song. Sorry, not sorry.
Stay off my lawn.
Keep it moving, keep it gone. No flags, no biltong. No fires, no song. Sorry, not sorry.
Stay off my lawn.
my lawn.
My lawn.
Sorry, not sorry. Off
My lawn, my lawn. Stay off my lawn.
sorry, not sorry. Off
Refugees not welcome.
my lawn.
There you go, folks. Stay off my lawn from DJ Silver Eagle. You can find that music on Amazon, iTunes, Apple Store for purchase, 99 cents. We kept the price in the mid-range. And you can also listen to it on Spotify, Weezer, and another 18 or 20 networks that stream. So thanks a lot. If you like that, all the music's there. Over 40 songs uploaded now. Close to 1,000 viewers we have or followers on Spotify alone. So thank you so much for that. In less than a month. By the way, for those who are curious, my credits have renewed. Must be today my billing date because I look in here now. I have 2,500 credits back. The last time I got down to about 1,800. I thought I was going to run through all of them making all these songs because we had some duds. Welcome back. Bitter Ender just gave 20 Rand super chat. Super sticker. Thank you for that. Did someone else give super stickers? I heard some ding, ding, ding going on when I was listening to the music. All right. Welcome to everybody here. And it is a Refugee Kaffee Klatsch, folks. The refugee questions are on the table here. Let me see. It was memberships. That's what it was. Werner Durant gave 5 memberships. Thank you for that, Werner. And then a super sticker. All right. So, yeah. So, folks, today, in anticipation of people raising my blood pressure, I purchased a digital blood pressure monitor. So, we're going to do unpackaging. This is a reveal here. So, pull it out of the box. So, this is new, because. There's another super sticker. Thank you for that one, JJ Rasmus, 35 Rand. All right, so here we go. Came with these little tiny batteries. What the hell are these? Quadruple A? Those are tiny as all get out. All right, so we've got a little USB cable here, USB 2 to C. All right, so here's the little device, the readouts. Okay, whoops, the battery came off. The little cover came off the back. So product endorsements here. And Ronaldo says 150 over 100. Hey, Ronaldo, what's up, man? So here's the blood pressure cuff. Okay, there you go. So got that. Got the little instruction booklet here. And here's the device. It's probably made in China, I'm sure. Let's get out some readers on here so we can take a look at it before we start answering these refugee questions. Let me see. Put this in here. There we go. Little Chinese batteries out of there. Come on. These are AAA, but they look tiny for AAAs. Maybe they're Chinese AAA. Oh, my goodness. Now the plastic doesn't want to cooperate. Stay off my lawn, folks. You recall my daughter's pregnant. You said we need permission from the father. Lady at the court said no permission needed until born. Okay. Angelique, I said I don't know the status. I said when the child is born. You didn't hear correctly. I said I don't know the status. I suspect. Suspecting is just suspicion. I don't know. So that's good news. So if you get out before the child is born, then the father has no rights. I find that hard to believe, but I'll accept that. Okay, and but no, you're I didn't give you bad information. I said I don't know about her being pregnant. I said once the child is born, the father has rights, and I suspect he has rights now. In America, we'd have rights. Well, in theory. Anyway, how's this damn thing go back on here now? There we go. It's on now. Okay, cool. It's got a time on here already. It's got the wrong time. All right, I'll fiddle around with it later on. I'm not going to take my blood pressure, but I did buy that just today to see how high you guys get my blood pressure up. All right, so there you go. I've been waiting to unveil that for a couple of days. So let's put most of this crap back in the box, which you don't need right now. Cable doesn't go in there. Blood pressure cuff. There's the directions. I'm not going to try to sit here and learn how to use this. I know how to use a blood pressure cuff, but how to read this one. All right, so let's get to the refugee questions. Let me go back and see if I got anything. In the time remaining, you need to value every single thing you do about this country of ours, and then pack your bags and move to something new, says Maze. Denise Wolf-Bota, welcome to you. Love the song. Cool beans. Erica Fundenberg. Be sure to hit the like button, folks. So we got 361 likes. Come on, look, I don't get paid to do this. You know, the super chats don't cover the bills.
That was easy.
I'm not talking about my mortgage or my electricity. I'm talking about the bills just for doing this business, for doing this broadcast. Oh, thank you, Guy Britz, for your membership. Appreciate that. Ooh, he's been doing it for a while. All right, first time notification has worked. That's awesome, Daniel. Did you go back and reset it? That might have helped. Okay. What else we got here? Rakes is here. Dylan Combrick, OG, is with us. Lise Grunewald. I cannot compare Tasneem with Florida. No, you can't. What an amazing song. Does anyone know where you can get it at? Well, Northgard, you can get those in the places I mentioned. Okay. All right. So, Primal Boar, you only get malaria if you drink cheap gin. If you don't take your prophylaxis, you can get it. So, such a beautiful country, but the demons running around here. Yep. Hi, Saf G's. That's good one, Nikki. It's 2 a.m. and I'm still awake. It's 2 a.m. What the hell are you at 2 a.m.? Australia, Nikki? Good Lord. It's not 2 a.m. anywhere around here. 12 hours from now. 12 hours. 8 o'clock. 4 a.m. in Sydney. Tokyo is 3 a.m. Perth. Are you in Western Australia? It's 2 a.m. in Perth. Okay. Leanne McCaskill. Welcome to you. And Alinde Marie DeLong. I can't wait to go to America. Who else is with me? Well, I'm already in America. I want to go somewhere else. Very interesting. Also agree. I see the mention it makes more susceptible for diseases. Hope it's not true. What's that? Having malaria? Madeline, thank you for the super chat. Thanks. Don't let the trolls raise your blood pressure. Nah. It's not the trolls. Sometimes it's just people that are just honest. They're just overly concerned and panicking, and it makes it difficult. Born, parents of permanent residents, only registered in South. Okay, I don't know what Lynette's talking about there. And Beulah Ricart has become a member. Thank you for that, joining us there. Okay. Thank you. Denise, we are the lighthouse, shining our light to the... Well, I identify as a lampshade because I shed light on the world. Vanderalt gave up those 5 memberships. Thank you for that. Ronel Dutoy got one of them. Congratulations, Doretta Fundemava. Shireen, what's up, Duck? Wait, that's not Shireen. That's Shireen. Both a different one. We're waiting patiently for our call. We just need to be very patient. Well, lots of people getting called, folks. I can guarantee that. I've been getting inundated by messages. Ronaldo Jos is here. Welcome, Ronaldo. And the 4 Sackers. Oh, Ronaldo, you're here. Are you still here, Ronaldo? Tell me if you're still here. I have a surprise for you, Ronaldo. If Ronaldo's still here, I'm going to take my shirt off. Ronaldo, are you still here? If you're still here. But if Ronaldo's not here, I'm not going to bother. Thank you for the membership. Teresa Smith, I'm looking for FG questions. I'm not seeing any so far. Okay, Skalk Loops here. Okay, Art Queen Lines, I just gave $5. Thank you. You're welcome, Zelda. Hey, Zelda, haven't seen you in a bit. Jay Langton, happy Sunday. By the way, Jay, did you see there's an article in the South African? I sent it to Errol about the interview that we did the other day. Okay. 110,000 subscribers. Yeah, it'd be nice if it was 1 million. That'd be cool. There's Ronaldo. Ronaldo left, man. He just popped in to say hi. I'm not going to do it then. Love this song. Okay, so we're getting a lot of those coming in, so we got to turn that off for a moment. Box. There we go. All right, could be interesting to see how many have received emails. We'll do a poll, Edward. Here short, we'll do a poll. Okay? Low likes ratio, family. Yeah, please hit it. Well, 458's not bad at 814. Who is screaming? Who's screaming, Martin? Oh, you're making fun of my singing. That's very mean. You've hurt my feelings. You've hurt my feelings. No, I can't sing. Doesn't hurt my feelings. Yeah, South Africans don't listen. They probably end up on my lawn. Exactly. As a refugee on my stoop. That's the book. That's the book I'm going to write about this whole experience. There's a refugee on my stoop. That's the book I'm going to write about this whole epic thing when it's over. When this thing calms down, it's all done, I'm going to write about there's a refugee on my stoop. There's a Saffar refugee on my stoop. That's the right, folks. That's the book. That's the book. Because, you know, there's a Zulu on my stoop as a book. So, good evening from the West Coast. Welcome to you. Okay. Weird animal facts. We were contacted by PRM 11 July. Then the program was handled. Then when the contest, they said we must remain at PRM. I don't have any advice for you, weird animal facts, other than I will check into that. Either you're the same person or the second person has told me that. So I'm looking into it. Well, if Ronaldo's here, it'll be a stripper chat, but I haven't seen Ronaldo. He disappeared. He just popped in to make it look like he was actually here. James Walkinshaw, hello to you. Or he's busy with edibles right now. Is there any books we recommend to study and learn about USA history? Oh, there's so many, Calzy. Go to Amazon, look up U.S. history books. If you find one, send me the title. I'll look at it and tell you what I think of it, okay? Amanda Lowe. Will things speed up for 1 October? Things have already sped up, Doretta. They've already sped up. I have over 250 messages from people who've been reached out to in the past 10 days, 12 days from RSC. 250 messages. 250 different people. Just me. I mean, I'm not exactly the clearinghouse for refugee stuff. That's just those who reached out to me. Ronaldo's ruining it, man. I wanted to show people what I was going to show you, but I'm not going to do it if he's not here. Okay, facts don't give a crap about your feelings. That's true. How's my hip going? Matthew, it's no improvement. My appointment with the sports medicine physician is Dr. Kumar, not from Kumar's at number 10, but Dr. Kumar on 30 October, nearly November. 30 freaking October is when I get my first appointment. I had my x-ray on the 7th of July. I haven't had my MRI yet. This is pathetic. And no, don't say that's U.S. healthcare. That's government-run healthcare. If I was a privately insured person and I could go to my doctor, this would all be done like that. I could actually go to the Veterans Administration and demand care right now, but it would mess up my whole situation with, I'm not ready to go to the Veterans Administration yet. So, yeah, and they would see me quickly. It's one book I'll buy for sure. You'll have quite the story to tell. Indeed. There's a refugee on my lawn. Well, actually, that's better, Herman. That's better. That's refugee on my lawn. But the stupid people would get that. South Africans would get that. There's a refugee on my lawn. Yep. Just have flashbacks of that movie with James Caan and Kathy Bates. Don't remember that one. You have a Zulu on your doorstep. That's what that means in English, yes. Yep. Yeah, it's not much worse, South African government health care. But I'll tell you that private care is better. In South Africa, when I've had private care, it's been spot on the money. Need to info regarding minor children who will be traveling U.S. with only one parent. You know what forms complete. Leeway, Lulu, I don't know what you're talking about. What forms complete? There are no forms complete. What are you talking about? Do the children have passports? That's the first thing. Second thing is, have you gotten legal authorization from the other parent, the other natural parent? You must have legal authorization. This is a South African requirement to take children out of the country. You must have birth certificates, according to South Africa. At least to come in the country. So I don't know about going out, but yeah. So you've got to have legal permission from the other parent. Otherwise, you're not going anywhere, those kids. So I'm not sure why people don't understand this. South Africa has been out in front hampering travel people. Remember that what they did to, what's his name, the Liberian who's a really good actor, lives in the UK. He came to South Africa and didn't have a birth certificate for his kid, 17-year-old kid, on a trip to make a movie, and they told him kid couldn't come. It's ridiculous. It's an effort to stop trafficking children, but children are trafficked every day. Just look at Jocelyn Smith in South Africa. Yep. Why are pet people thinking they will be picked first? I don't know. Who said that, Tanya? They're not. We covered that yesterday in the live stream with Morgan Aslop. We covered that yesterday. That doesn't put you at the front of the queue if you have pets. If you think you're special because you have pets, you're not. Disabuse yourself of that notion. I want to know if I apply for renewal my license, not receive. If you go to America before I receive, what's going to happen? Well, you're probably going to be told your license is expired. You're going to have to take the driver's test. Why are people so worried about that? Listen, I mean, you're coming to a new country. Just comply with the laws. The laws require you to have a license to operate, so go get a driver's license. Boom. Boom shakalaka. You can get a driver's license in an afternoon. It's not like it takes years to get. This isn't South Africa. Guys, I walked in to the Pennsylvania Motor Vehicle Administration, and I got this bad boy in a matter of about 20 minutes. That's my driver's license. I'm not showing you because all the data's on there. Yeah, in 20 minutes. In 20 minutes. I took my Ohio driver's license, which was still valid, so that'd be slightly different if yours is expired. And I went in there, and I did it all right there on the spot. Paid my fee, $25. Took my photograph, issued my driver's license, and since I'm an American citizen, I registered to vote all at once. Just like that. This is what happens when governments work. When bureaucracies function, when they're staffed by people who are competent and not by corrupt criminals or patronage hires who are inept and got 30% in English or Afrikaans or Zulu, whatever their first language is. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. Stop worrying about license. These are trivial things. Trivial things. You're worrying about things that are not important. Now, if you don't know how to drive, that's going to be a problem. Okay? But yeah, it's a trivial thing. I wouldn't worry about it. Is there a timeline for my movement? My brother received a call and spoke first with PRM, and then the second group both were on the phone. There's no timeline, Christian. There's no timeline. Every case is handled individually. There's no timeline. I don't know why people have this perception. Well, you get the call 2 weeks later, you get this 3 weeks. There's no such thing. You get handled on an ad hoc basis, each person individually. There is no timeline. Some people have gotten a phone call and been called in, and they're already here since May 12th. Not a lot, but a few. Also, people who were with PRM, some of them are still coming over. But you got to look at this two ways. You got to listen to my advice, okay? You should have, on May 12th, if you'd already done an email to PRM, sent a statement of interest in. People are stubborn. They just do what they want to do. Fine, that's your problem. People who listen to who they want to listen to. That's fine. Listen to who you want to listen to. But when you don't get called, don't call crying to me. I told you on May 12th from the Wimpy at OR Tambo to go fill out a statement of interest, even if you've done an email already. Do it, do it, do it, do it. A lot of people just ignore me because they're smarter than me. Well, good for them. Good for them. Good for them. I don't need refugee status. I was born American. I don't need it. So, good on you. If you want to ignore the Colonel's advice, ignore the Colonel's advice. There's no problem with submitting a statement of interest if you already did a PRM email, especially since PRM isn't handling it anymore. Remember, we don't know the true number. Marco Ruby said there were 70,000 people for the statement of interest within 10 days of it going up. And we never got an official confirmation of the number of people who sent PRM emails, but we believe it was over 100,000. So that stuff is being migrated over. That takes time. So they had stopped using the PRM email address at one point, but then we now have evidence from people who've actually only sent in the PRM email that they got contacted. So my advice is, do what you want to do. But I would, if I were in your shoes, I would have, if I sent a PRM email in February, March, I would have sent in a statement of interest on May 12th. Piece of cake. But there's no timeline. There's no timeline to this. They will give you the timelines that apply to your case when it gets approved. You'll get a case number. One of my moderators just got a case number. Woohoo! One of my moderators just got a case number, which means that moderator will be coming to America very soon. And no, it's not Hendo. He lives in the UK. Yeah, one of my moderators just got a case. Actually, two of my moderators just got a case number. I just forgot. Two of my moderators got a case number, so they'll be coming sometime soon. Once you have a case number, you can look up your case and see where it's at. Once you have that. But the timelines are individual. It's to your case. I mean, remember, they ask people when you can leave. So if, for instance, they contact you and you said 9 months, okay, if that's still true, they're going to do your interviews, they're going to do your medical, do all that stuff, and then, they're going to try to schedule for 9 months out, unless you can go sooner. So, Christian, don't lose any sleep over it. Just hang in there, okay? Oh, chat really jumped. Give me a second here, folks. I got to get back to where Christian's message was. Okay. I'd like to know if the report regarding the investigation will have an impact on our FT program, speed it up, change it. It depends, Fit9 Innovations. It depends what the intent was. If it was simply as part of a normal routine investigation for the annual human rights report, it probably won't have much of an impact. But this, I got the flavor from this tweet because it was unusual for them to do that. They don't usually do that on the human rights investigation because they do every country every year, the human rights report back to Congress and back to the president. I got the impression this was unusual, so it may be something that the secretary has asked for. If the secretary gets it, then he has the ear of the president. He may take it to the president. But he needs to also take Lex Libertas's report on the personal testimonies of people in South Africa. Go away, Ronaldo. Is Ronaldo still here? I don't see Ronaldo. Does anyone know how long it takes from the fingerprints fade? No, Johan, there's no timeline. Get over this, guys. Stop this. There's no timeline. Every case is different. One of my moderators did fingerprints like 3 weeks ago and just got a case number Friday. Okay? But I know people that did fingerprints and did medical. It's just, stop. There's no such thing. Okay? I mean, honestly, you guys are beyond impatient. And don't get angry with me because I'm saying that. I mean, there are people that wait dozens of years for refugee status. You've been put to the front of the queue. And I appreciate your anxiety. But you had no offer on February 6th. None whatsoever. None Nobody's offering you anything on February 6th. We'll find out. Okay, allowed to take milk or tea on board for my kids, 2-year-old, 1-year-old in a plane. You're allowed to bring things on board, but you're not allowed to bring those things into America, so you better consume them on the flight. You have to declare agricultural products when you come in. They're going to inspect it. They might let it in. They might charge you duty on it. But yeah, you can take it on the plane. Yeah, of course. It's a carry-on thing. We're talking about dry, not liquids, right? Well, milk is a liquid. Yeah, that's going to be a problem at the airport. Have you never flown before, Lindy? I don't know the answers on what it is for bringing... You can't take liquids in the airports normally. Into security zones because they could be explosive devices. I don't know the answer on that for baby milk because people fly with babies and need formula. So there's, you can only take so much limits, like 300 milliliters of like mouthwash or toothpaste or body lotion or frickin', cologne. The rules change all the time. It has nothing to do with, you need to go look up airlines. Lindy, this has nothing to do with refugee status. It has to do nothing with refugee status. Guys, I don't understand people. It's like people have never flown before. And maybe you've never flown before. Maybe that's why. It's people like never traveled anywhere before, which was probably the case since so few of you had passports. This is an airline and a security issue for OR Tambo or whatever airport you leave out of. And then when you arrive in the U.S., you can't bring agricultural products in. Certain ones you can, Like, for instance, it's illegal to bring biltong and droevorst into the country. You can't bring them in. Colonel, your love for South Africa is amazing. You and Rob Hersov are doing an exponential. Thank you, Rob Lang. So, Lindy, I'm not sure if I answered your question, but it's an airline question. And when you know what airline you're on, then you need to check with the airport. Okay? Things change. The rules change all the time. Now you don't have to take your shoes off anymore in the U.S. For 20 years, idiots made us take your shoes off unless you were in the TSA pre or the global entry thing. You didn't have to take them off. It's a trusted traveler. But everybody else had to take their damn shoes off for 20 freaking years. It was asinine. People picking up toe fungus and athlete's foot by walking on naked floors. It was ridiculous. Now you don't have to do it anymore. They just changed that rule. The Trump administration got rid of it. Any books you would recommend? Okay, I already answered that question. Stuff on my stoop, and they don't listen. That's true. They don't listen. Okay. Yeah. So the report. It depends what happens with that report. My timestamps are not here again. Sorry, guys. It's really annoying. Okay. Bergmeister, can I get my book autographed on your lawn? I'll be happy to autograph the book. Thank you for the 35 Rand super sticker. Thanks again, Colonel, you and Morgan last night for that interview. It was really helped a lot of us, and we appreciate it. You're very welcome, Matthew. I didn't get all love. I got a couple nasty messages about it. People were angry that Nicole was being targeted. I don't think Nicole was being targeted. I think that Morgan was very fair with her, and I certainly didn't target her despite her abysmal conduct towards me. Not Morgan, but Nicole. I heard that Americans who don't have health insurance get a discount and that having insurance can work out more expensive with higher out-of-pocket expenses. Where did you hear that nonsense? Well, under the current law that the communist regime of Barack Obama Hussein put in place, you have to buy insurance or you pay a penalty. When you file your taxes, if you don't have health insurance, you pay a fine. Now, the fine may be cheaper than health insurance, but if you don't have health insurance, the only care you're going to get is emergency room care. So my hip right now, I would just have to walk around as a cripple. If I didn't have health insurance, I couldn't get care. I'd have to walk around as a cripple. Katie says, do you put up Christmas lights and Yes, of course I do. Oh, ha, 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 ha. You want to use that plug-in? Yeah, I also have, electric. Here we have mains outside our house. We don't have to worry about people stealing our power. We have mains outside our house. On the front, on the side, on the back. I can go out because I can plug in my lawnmower. You can plug in lights. Yeah, we have mains outside. Even the light pole out front has but it's not working properly because it's never installed properly, has a plug for the mains. Should we just save up and do without? Okay. First off, K. Janssen van Rensburg, no. Can you save up $300,000 for cancer surgery? You can't. I can't. Are you wealthy? Maybe you are. No, you're not. I doubt it. No. You have to have health insurance. If you're indigent and poor, it's provided for you. Depends on your status. The refugees get medical care for like a year, I think, and medical insurance for a year. And then, and in the interview, if you watch the interview that I did with Earl, that I posted earlier, he talks about health insurance. Or was it the live stream I did with him? One of those two, he talks about it. I think it was the live stream I did with him where his daughter got hurt, And yeah, it was the live stream I did with him from last week. If you watched that on Monday last week, that live stream with Earl from Alabama, you'll see that he talked about his daughter was injured, but because they're refugees, they're covered. They have medical insurance for now. Now he's employed. I don't know if his employer provides medical insurance, but that's often the case. So maybe it's a different situation. No, you can't do without medical insurance. It doesn't work that way. Someone has to pay for the health care. And yet kidnapped children are gone missing. What are you talking about, Sonneblum? What are you talking about? That's just a random comment. Just got back to putting a fire out in our pump house. Some vagrant thought they could make themselves comfortable for the night and nearly burnt the roof down. Sorry to hear that, Leslie. That's crazy. Rainier Ferrero, welcome to you. Nev says, as an electrician, do you think the refugee program would help me with financial support for transfer course exams I'll need to complete? It's not a deciding factor, but just curious about it. It's a fair question, Nev. 70 Rand. No, I don't know if it's free, but there is tuition assistance, there is grants, there are loans, there are all kinds of ways to do education, and there are assistance specifically targeted for helping refugees with education. I don't know the status of that. I don't know, and it really doesn't matter. It's not a question I could possibly answer until you tell me where you're going, Nev. Do you know where you're going? You don't. Are you going to Montana? Are you going to New Mexico? Are you going to California, New York, Pennsylvania? Every state has different qualifications. They're all similar, but every state you must be certified in. So I don't know the answer to that question, and I couldn't answer it honestly until we know where you're going. See, folks, you need to understand this. America is a sovereign nation comprised of sovereign states, or provinces, if you will. Each state has its own laws and constitutions. All of them are subordinate to the U.S. Constitution, but they each have different requirements for driver's license. So many states require that within 90 days after you arrive in a state, you must get your license transferred to that state. Pennsylvania, I believe the law is 60 days. Some states it's 30 days. So when I retired in October 2019, as artificially still had a state license, even though I lived here because I was military, that's allowed by law. Others can't do that though. I went the first couple of days and got this license and made sure I was compliant with the law and registered to vote. All right. But like registering to vote, a lot of states require you to be resident for 30 days. Some require 60 days. Every state is sovereign. They set their own laws. It's not complicated though. Ronaldo is here. Okay. He gave 35 Rand. When did Ronaldo give that? I didn't see that earlier. I didn't see Ronaldo give 35 Rand. He must have just done that a few moments ago. Okay. Just a question about renting a house. After 3 months refugee allocation expired, will you be able to rent the house you're currently living in? Yeah, it's not tied to that. So you have to sign a lease normally. I mean, most places require a lease, so you're going to have to rent that place. Usually it's a 12-month lease. You're going to be expected to live there. Every lease has different breaking. So those guys in Alabama got a really good deal. I think if you watch the live stream, if I remember correctly, said on air, their deposit was dirt cheap. Everywhere I've ever lived my entire life, when I rented, I had to give 2 months rent. I only had to give like $200, which is a good deal. Grim Reaper's a 6'1" mech vet. Grim Reaper, I went to Forrester's in Newlands for a 6'1" mech reunion recently. Are they still visiting through applicants from mid-May? Yes, Leanne. There's tens of thousands, and there haven't been tens of thousands of people contact yet. Of course they're going through that stuff. Yes. I mean, the first day that thing was up, I bet you they got 25,000 statements of interest minimum. I bet you. And they haven't gone through 25,000 people since then. So a renewal, not first application like our case will be. No idea what Daniel's talking about there. Health costs America will be affordable in the transition period while you get your first job. Kay, I just gave that explanation. Maybe your chat is a little bit behind. Yeah, it's about 14 minutes behind. Yeah, you're covered with insurance for the first year, which is more than I got. Do you know how much health insurance coverage I got after 36 and a half years in the Army when I retired? Zero. I got nothing unless I paid insurance. Now, I was eligible for the insurance, but I had to pay for it. Colonel Liz, stop trolling. At the rate the program is sped up now, are you aware to your knowledge of any rejections? No, I'm not. Charles Sutherland Clark. I have not heard from anyone or from the U.S. government telling me anybody who's applied who's been processed completely has been rejected. Doesn't mean it hasn't happened. Just I don't know of anybody. Don't know of a single person. Very important. My son went to Home Affairs to do his daughter's passport, but he had to reschedule as both parents have to be present. Okay, Marley, I didn't know that. That's interesting. How do you do that if the person lives on the other side of the country? That's very unfair. Why would you need both parents there unless they're taking DNA? That's stupid. That's just stupid to get a passport. We need to complete the test first in order to have USA license. Victory through mobility, says Grim Reaper. Ha 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 ha. 6-1 mech. Okay. So it won't have an impact on the refugee program. The investigation is. No, you didn't listen. See again. See, South Africans hear what they want to hear. That is not what I said. That is not what I said. See why I tell you guys to get off my lawn? Fitnut, that's not what I said. It's not what I said. Marco Rubio has the ear of the president. I don't. I don't know anyone else in the State Department has his ear, but Marco Rubio does. It depends on what kind of report this was. And I told you, I suspect that it was a special report, not part of the human rights, which is a normal course of events. Therefore, it's going to be briefed to the secretary. Therefore, he's likely to tell the president. So where do you divine that I said it's not going to affect the refugee program? If the president sees he's got more information, he could very well say, move forward. What do you mean by, Professor, what do you mean by affect the refugee program? The report is nothing to do with the refugee program, but it could influence the decision makers to make them move faster. I mean, that's what I was asked, and that's what I answered. So where do you get that from, man? You guys drive me nuts with this stuff. I didn't say that. It's time to pull the blood pressure cuff out, man. It's time to pull this out. Really, it's time. I mean, come on, guys. Come on. Stop it. Stop being so difficult here, okay? All right. There we go. Let's get this thing out of there. You're going to give me a heart attack, guys. It's not what I said. Stop hearing what you want to hear, okay? And Fitnut left before I even answered the question. He's already gone. So, he heard what he wanted to hear and then he left. Are you still here, Fitnut? You left. You asked the question at 2:22, and in the same minute, you said goodbye. That was 16 minutes ago. I'm a little behind the chat. And you left. Oh, my goodness. Thinking about equip myself with a heavy vehicle license, drive trucks. And should I go while I have time here around the USA? Well, you're going to have to get a license here in the USA, regardless of what you do overseas. You're going to have to get a commercial, what the hell is it called? Anyway, you have to get one here. Yep. No, it's not James Dark. It's not James Dark. That's not the guy. Idris Elba. Garrett Gillich. It's Idris Elba. It just came to my mind. Corday Hudson says, obtaining a driver's license is so corrupt, the officials look for the bribes and blatantly say if you have 5,000, you'll have your license today. Exactly. So don't worry. Don't bother about it. Just get a license here. I paid $25 to change my license. Was it? $25. What is a commercial operator's license called? I'm drawing a blank now. Truck driver's license. What the hell is that called? A CDL. Yeah, commercial driver's license. CDL. That's what I was trying to say. Gosh bless it. You need a CDL to be a truck driver in America. Simple as that. Be sure to hit the like button, folks. We got 578 now. Yeah. So my husband renewed his driver's license in April and paid for temporary license. Card machines still have order and people. Yeah, it's a big problem. I know, Vanessa. There were hundreds of thousands behind. Some states will convert your license. Other states will redo your license in any case. In some states, you have, yeah, I think you mean by redo, Mr. Smith, you have to take all the tests. Yep. Yep. DeVault Hernevald, if your passport expires after you arrive in USA, would this be a challenge to identify yourself? Concerned that it would take ages. No, you get an identity card, and I saw them, which you're issued as a refugee. U.S. government issues you an ID card, federal ID, that identifies you. So you have identification, and you can use that for identification. But if your passport's going to expire, you need to get in touch with the South African mission in Washington or L.A. or wherever there's a consulate to get your passport renewed. You need to do that. But yes, you're going to be issued identification when you arrive. Yep, I saw the identification. Pretty cool looking, snazzy. How to escape from utopia, South African refugee starter pack. Jo, verlang ek nou na RSM camp. What are you talking about, Grim Reaper? Okay, I went to... Whoa, jumped on me again. I'm going to miss some chat here, folks, because it jumped up on me a lot. Well, there's Ronaldo. Okay, he did that at 2:32. Okay, Ronaldo, you were still here. Here's... Okay. All right, so Ronaldo was still here. Here's the stripper chat, okay? All right, I promised it. I didn't know Ronaldo was still here. I didn't know what time he was here. I don't know if he's still here, but this is for y'all. This is a surprise from Ronaldo. Okay, so, okay, here you go. Ah, you saw it already. There you go. There's your stripper chat. Ooh, look at there, folks. Look at there. Ooh, I'm wearing sec gear. Ooh, it's on the nipple, too. Yeah, there you go. There you go. There's your stripper chat. Haha, sec gear. All right, cool. You guys like that? All right, Ronaldo, thank you for 35 Rand super chat. Does medical assist include dental cover? For refugees, I think it does. I'm not an expert on that. I don't get dental care even as a retiree. I have spent over $4,000 on dental care in the past 2 years because I got nothing. So much for that retirement check. Ronaldo's back. There you go, Barber. I hope he's still here. Sonabloom was commenting on the fact that parents have to give permission for children. Gotcha, Sonabloom. That's what I said. I didn't understand. It seemed like a random comment. Okay, but see, that's what happens when you don't put a full statement out there. Now you've explained it. You were saying your point was frustration, I think, because you have to have a birth certificate, original birth certificate, to take your kids around. You have to prove it's your kid. Yet people get kidnapped all the time. Spot on, Sonabloom. Thank you for your comment. It was unclear before. Now it's clear to me. Thank you. Take it off. I took it off. So you think the refugee benefits falls away as soon as you start a job? I didn't say that, Beulah. Didn't say that. I can tell you the refugee cash assistance is reduced when you get a job. That's a fact. But I don't know about the health insurance. I think it stays for a year. I mean, I'm not an expert. Why are you guys so worried about this stuff? Do you see refugees starving in the streets? You don't. Relax. Get a grip. Watch my videos. I explained all this on February 10th. Anyway, yeah, it's going to be fine. But yes, your refugee cash assistance, which isn't a lot of money to begin with, is reduced when you start working. If you start working immediately, it gets reduced immediately. Yep. All right, Beulah? It would be in your interest to have a valid passport when you go for your first interview. That's all I'm saying. Of course. I was a K-53 driving license instructor and licensing tester. What are the opportunities in the States? Baby boomer dad, I have no idea what the heck that is. I assume you're a driver. You get hired by a local school that has driver's ed. You know that our public schools have driver's education courses. That's how I got my temporary license in high school. And if I hadn't had a jerk off for a prick for a stepfather, I would have got my permanent license. But in high school, when you turn 16, usually as a sophomore in high school, maybe as a junior in my case, you take driver's education. And they hire teachers who teach driver's education. So if you've done that before, baby boomer dad, no reason you can't get a job working in a high school. There aren't a lot of driving schools here like there are in Europe because we do that in school normally. There are exceptions. Montgomery Ward used to have a program. They don't exist anymore. But my point is that you can find driving schools, but most of the driving stuff is done in high school. So, and usually what happens is local car dealerships donate the cars or loan them to the school, and that's what they use. I'm amazed that my super chat notification didn't go through. So am I, Ronaldo, but I found it finally, and here you are. Here you are. So, yep. So I've got your shirt on. All my paperwork in order now, trying to figure out what to pack in my suitcases. Okay, that's a good point there. Why are people so worried about having a license? They don't even have cars. Awkwardly, and I'm 100% with you. I don't understand some of these concerns. Look, I appreciate people's nervousness, their anxiety, but I mean, first off, you all don't even bother driving with license in South Africa. You break the law every day. You speed, you pay bribes to people when you get pulled over, you pay to jump the queue, you skip this, you skip that. None of y'all follow the law. You're all a bunch of criminals, and now you're worried about the law? You should be. I was born in Zimbabwe by South African parents, been in South Africa since 1980, South African birth certificate, national citizen status. Thoughts on chances? You're a South African national, correct, Benji? Benji? You're a South African national. You're a South African citizen. Your chances are great. Your chances are great. You're a South African citizen. That's the first qualification. Case closed. I don't care where you were born. 6-1 Mech Vet here as well. Grim and I shared some smiles on the chat. Okay, Rainier, thanks for sharing that. South Africans are hating and spitting at each other while the politicians live a millionaire and billionaire lives. Yeah, it's true, PK. Tom's out of here. Okay. Snotty remark was uncalled. What did Ferreira say? What's snotty remark? That wasn't snotty, Tom. They were joking about stripper chats, which I don't do. It wasn't snotty, unless I missed something. You're welcome, Charles. Yeah, both parents need to sign. Micah, is it Micah? Yeah, Micah. I'm sure they will say your application has been rejected and have a valid reason attached to it. If there's so many rejections, I'm sure people would have. Yeah, exactly, Micah. Thank you. If here's the thing. Okay, we don't have evidence, but if people are being rejected, don't you think somebody, the way that Uffer Connors in particular can be at times, don't you think somebody would have been pissed off and gone on the radio? Oh, I got rejected. I sent this thing in. The Americans told me I can't come. Somebody would have, there would have been social media things. There would have been TikToks. There would have been X. Oh, I've been denied. Oh, those Americans, screw them. They screwed me. Not even any fakes are coming out yet. Not even any fakes. Think about it. Think about it, guys. If people are getting rejected, of course, they might never been told they're rejected. You know, maybe they sent something in, they got interviewed, and they never got called back. That's a possibility. But I'm not aware of anybody that's been told they've been rejected. Just saying. Yep. Paul VN says, require fingerprints and ID for both parents. There you go. Oh, that's why the parents have to go in for the passport? That's ridiculous. Do you know how we apply for passports? Online. Online. And you don't need fingerprints for a passport. Or do you? I don't think so. I've had a passport for 40 years, so I don't know. Parents must be there if they're not married. That's if they're not married. But Rainier, it's not common sense if they are married. Why would it have to be there if they're both married? Why do both parents have to sign for a passport? That's ludicrous. If I apply for refugee program, but in the process gets denied, will Alec Bota, I just addressed that, although your question's from about 10 minutes ago. Don't know the answer. I would presume they would tell you if you're turned down, but we've not heard of a single case being turned down, so I can't confirm that. Mad Max, in his mansion so fine, got a lawn so green, a bottle of wine. Jay Langton, if you get pulled over by a police officer, we were told you roll down your window and do not take your hands off the steering wheel till they're next to your window. Yes. Okay, let me just run through that. Okay, so unlike adamant, disrespectful, arrogant, large number of young black men in this country who get themselves in trouble and then cry racism, when you are pulled over by police, pull over at the first safe spot you can. Slow down and pull over. Signal, pull in. On the side of the road in a lay-by, as you guys call it, or in a parking lot, you sit there. Leave your window up until the police officer starts approaching. Then roll your window down. Leave your hands on the steering wheel where the officer can see them, okay? And for anyone else in the vehicle, don't be making sudden movements in there because people shoot cops, people target cops, so the cops are ready to respond. CFD Yeager, thank you. 14 Rand. So keep your hands on the wheel. Officer comes up, be polite. Whether you're angry, you didn't do anything wrong, doesn't matter. People get pulled over when they didn't do anything wrong. I've been pulled over for doing nothing wrong more than once. It's annoying. But just be polite. Usually ask for the vehicle registration and your driver's license. Most people have the vehicle registration in the glove box and say, my registration's in the glove box. May I reach for it? Because people also have guns in their glove box and shoot cops, okay? So, do that. Then you hand it to them, answer the officer's questions. Don't get combative. If they give you a citation, take the citation. You can appeal it in court later on, okay? That's how you handle police stop. All right? Simple as that. Yeah, it's crazy, Merlot. Why would you put your parents' fingerprints on the child's passport? It doesn't make any sense. South African government will not let you exit the country without a valid passport until the wheels are off the ground. You're bound. Exactly, HP. That's what I've been telling people. And oh my gosh, the hate I got. Oh, you're so insensitive. You're so inconsiderate. Oh, you're rich American. You think that 600 Rand isn't a lot of money. It's not. It's not a lot of money. I'm sorry if you have no income, but it's not a lot of money. $32 is not a lot of money. $34. It's peanuts. It's peanuts. That may be a lot of money for someone who has no income. I appreciate that, but it's peanuts. It doesn't change the fact that it's a tiny sum. It's 1/3 of what do I pay for my passport. Renewal, not even initial passport. So I got a lot of grief when I'm like, you got to have a passport. Well, we can't get passports, so are we screwed? Well, hey, you want to sit there and cry like a baby? I guess you are screwed. Or if you want to be an adult and be a boer making plan, then you make a plan. You come up with a way to make money. I mean, think about this, folks. All the whiny crybaby nonsense I dealt with back in February, March, and April, it's been 6 months. In 6 months, if you needed 600 Rand to get a passport, that means you only had to come up with 100 Rand per month. And here we are 6 months later and you haven't left the country yet. You should have been able to save 600 Rand or borrow or beg on the street or sell something. But now I'm just evil and mean, insensitive. No, I'm just telling you how it is. Some of my members have bought passports for people. early on. At least that conversation has disappeared. Not hearing a lot of that crying anymore about that. And yes, it was crying. You sit here and go in the chat and bitch and moan about the passport, how much it costs. You know what? You're not serious about getting out of South Africa then, if that's the situation. You're going to cry about a 600 rand for the passport. But I have 5 children. Hey, you dipped your wick, not me. So you got to be responsible. Oh, but the laws are against me. Yeah, we know that. That's why you're getting refugee status. Oh, you know, you want everything spoon-fed and handed to you? Be a man. Be a woman. Step up and do something. But I'm handicapped. Okay? Do you know anybody who can help you? Do you have family? Anyway, come on, guys. Nobody's complaining. I'm just running through scenarios here, okay? The other parent only needs to go to any other home affairs. They don't have to be in the same place. Thank you, Marcel. Okay, so that's different than saying both parents must be there. What Marcel Labaskagni is saying is that both parents have to go into a home affairs office. That's very different. So if you live in Hermanus and the other parent lives in Petersburg, then they can both get in separate locations if Marcel is correct. You need both parents present. Well, now James in the next sentence says both parents need present. I don't know what the law is in South Africa. You guys got to figure that out. Daniel says they both need parents for verification as far as I'm aware. Yeah, we got the blood pressure cuff right here, Cheryl. Knock, knock, knock. The colonel's door. Refugees rolling in. I have South Africa unabridged birth certificate, ZA passport, and ZA. Uh-oh. You have a Zimbabwe passport. Okay, that doesn't make any sense, Benj. You're telling me you're born to South African parents in Zimbabwe. You're a South African citizen. You have a South African birth certificate. And you have Zimbabwe. Okay. Well, Benj, then you're not a South African. If you don't have a South African passport, you're not a South African. Can you get one? Do you qualify for one? If you don't have a South African passport, you're not coming in this program, buddy. Sorry. South Africans don't hold Zimbabwean passports. Zimbabweans do. Do you follow the logic? I'm just giving the logic when you get interviewed. So you need to go get yourself a South African passport. Sounds like you're entitled to one. We even know our driver's license. 6 months. Colonel, we never left South. I've never been on a plane ever. Well, you are the rare exception, Francis. You're the rare exception. Barbara Harrison, you need to take your shirt off first to put the blood pressure cuff on. No, they don't. Nah, that's not true, Barbara. Whenever I go in, they don't take the shirts off anymore. They just put it right over the clothing. ID card, driver's license, passport. I cannot get an unabridged birth certificate. What the heck must I do? Well, stop panicking for number one, Leone. Stop panicking. Or it's Leone, yes. First off, to my knowledge, the purpose for your birth certificate is for your application for permanent residency. You can't get permanent residency until you've been here for a year as a refugee. Thank you, Paul, for that super chat. I'll get to it in a second. So don't panic. You don't need a birth certificate to get out of South Africa. You need a passport. You should apply for your birth certificate, which apparently takes donkey years with Home Affairs for many people. And then when it comes, it needs to go someplace you can rely where somebody will get it to you, and either DHL at King's Ransom or bring it over with someone else when they come over, because you can't use the mail. It doesn't work. And that's how that works. So don't panic. Stop panicking. Make sure you apply for it. Make sure you follow up on it. But don't panic. You don't need it to come to America. You just need it to become a permanent resident. And don't ask the next question. What happens if you don't get it after a year? I don't have an answer for you. All right? We got people like Erica, who was born in Katanga in the Belgian Congo. She doesn't have a birth certificate. She's being processed. I don't know what's going to happen with that. Luckily, I missed that one, says Retha. Don't burst a vein with that Chinese contraption. Can I apply for my unabridged birth certificate in Washington because I had enough of the useless home affairs? JJ Rasmus, I have no idea how that works. I know you can get a passport through the consular service in South Africa, but I don't know about a birth certificate. It may be possible because your government's different. You can't do that for America. I can tell you right now, you cannot go to an American consulate and request a birth certificate unless you were born abroad. If you were born abroad to American parents, then you can get an American birth certificate issued by the State Department. Husky just gave a super chat. Thank you. So that's the exception. But I was born in Maryland. So if I was living in Germany, I went to the consulate in Bonn, and I asked for a birth certificate, and look at me like, what are you, smoking crack cocaine? But in South Africa, it might be different because it's all centralized. You guys have all your centralized stuff, so it may be different. I don't know the answer. I don't know the... look, I've dealt with South African embassies, but I have no basis to deal with their consular service because when I arrive, they stamp my passport and I get in the country. I don't need anything from South African consular services. So I don't know the answer on that. Don't know the answer on that. You're going to have to inquire with the South African government on how that works. Takes 1 ID, 2 passport, underage letter. Okay. Chris, if you see your blood pressure, you'll just push it up more. Nope. The lease goes into your name from day one. Exactly, Jackie. Exactly. Jay just said lease goes to your name from day one. Yep. Wish folks wouldn't be so touchy. Exactly. You need a passport leave via Southern Customs. You need an unabridged birth certificate to get your green card. Chris, that's what I said. Thank you. You beat me to it by a wide margin. Okay, just saw the blood pressure thing. Yes. CDL truck license, America. Yep. Okay, catching up. Okay, Mustard Olive Coaching, Colonel Willie, EO fall away on the new fiscal. No, you're part of the normal refugee program now. The executive order, no, just authorizes different. So the State Department can authorize people, Congress can designate people, and the President can designate people to come over. The President designated people. That doesn't go away. Executive order's there unless he rescinds it. Doesn't have any impact on the fiscal year. Nothing to do with fiscal year. The White House website says the 2025 will allow approximately 105,000 refugees. I think it's 56,000 for Africa. Those are goals. Mustard Olive Coaching, those are goals. The goals are often not met or often exceeded. I've explained all of this previously. Every year, the executive branch must submit to Congress a report on refugee admissions and projections for the future. They set goals. They set it based on countries and on conflicts and other issues. So, yeah. So they do a general one for Africa, then they usually do one for like Somalia, one for, Sudan. So, yeah, it's DRC. So that's a general, yeah. But that 125,000 refugees is a goal. That's not going to be 125,000 South Africans. That's going to include Somalis and Congolese and Kenyans. Next thing, wait a second, only 100. So what do we get? You get what you get. And unless the State Department issues a projection, we don't know what that number will be. And that report for 2024 won't include South Africans. The report for 2024, to my knowledge, has not been submitted to Congress. That was from the Biden regime. So that report has to go into Congress. Last time I checked, when I started covering this stuff, there was only 2023 report publicly available. So I don't know. CDL. Okay. Hey, Nola Buckerfield. No, they don't work according to the alphabet, Rena. They don't work. The alphabet has nothing to do with it. My daughter and son-in-law had to be present for their baby's passport, do fingerprints. When the passport came, Dad had to do his fingerprint again to receive the passport. That's just crazy. That's how it was for me with my daughter. I had to go across country, do her passport with the mother. So that's in conflict with the other person said. So, guys, I'm not telling you what it is because I don't know. Why would you need an unabridged birth certificate again if you're an adult? Okay, apparently, Cameron, you're not listening. People are not listening, not listening, not listening, not listening. Okay. Okay. $190 over $120. Please listen. Please listen. We just covered that. You need an unabridged birth certificate, which you guys call it. Never heard of such thing in America. We just have birth certificates. We don't do things twice for the hell of it. You need a birth certificate to apply for permanent residency. Okay? Okay? All right. We're going to do a little Chris Rock here. Do you understand the words coming out of my mouth? I'm not picking on you, Cameron. I'm just saying, I just covered that. But to be fair, you asked the question 20 minutes ago. So that's unfair of me to pick on you. Unfair of me to pick on you. Very unfair of me to pick you. But my chat is way behind. Now it's catching up. Okay. Gabi, just an update. RC refused to continue my interview because I'm at biometrics with PRM. PRM said, wait for RC. Email PRM. And they said they'll come back to me. RC cannot take PRM cases due to loss. Okay, Gabi, I need that text, 258. I need to check into that, okay? Thank you for that, Gabi. That's actually very helpful. There it is. Okay, copy. That's very helpful. Okay, new window. Got it. Thank you for that. Okay. All right. Thank you, Gabi, for that. That's actually very helpful. You were very clear about what you're stating, and I don't have an answer for you. Let me see if I can't find something out, okay? Citibank and American Bank. Yeah, we have lots of banks. That's, you mean Citi, C-I-T-I? It's one of the world's largest banks, Citibank. Yes, it is in America. I have a credit card from Citibank. It does have operations in South Africa. It's an American bank, yes. I don't know if it's licensed in South Africa to give you dollar accounts, though. I don't know. Jen Rudolph, there's a company in South Africa where you can apply for unabridged birth certificates called Docnetics. Okay. I don't know anything about that. Apply for a job at YouTube. Yeah, sure, go ahead. I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss anything. Child is trying with only one parent. Yeah, I covered that, PK. I said that's the whole point of this discussion. You need parental consent. You have to have that letter. You have to have that authorization, legal document. For passport for my minor child, I'm divorced. I was at one home affairs with the minor and the dad at another at the same time. Once application done my side, the system promoted. Okay, there you go. See, Rebecca says, so you guys, see, the problem with this too is South Africa doesn't even follow its own rules. If you put a little back sheesh, you get what you want. Some people follow the rules. Some people make up their own rules. Yeah. What if we cannot get passports for our children? We apply for them because we're their guardians, only now informed, not full guardians. We cannot take them. DJ Music, I don't know if you're the person contacting me before. You're screwed. You're not going to be able to go with those kids. So you're not going to be able to go. So you're going to have to find a way to raise that money to do what you have to do to become full guardians. I don't understand why you have to pay 25,000 Rand to become a full guardian. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. That's not a large sum of money. It may be a large sum of money to you, but large legal fees, that's dirt cheap. 25,000 Rand. It still sucks. That's over $1,000. So it's a lot of money, but in the scheme of things for legal things, it's not much money at all. I mean, lawyers charge $1,500 an hour here sometimes. So statelessness the other day, what are the chances that could happen to us? You can't be declared stateless. It's not legitimate. South Africa will find itself a pariah state if it tries to do that. Can't make you stateless. That's in the UN Declaration of Human Rights. You can't do that to people. CDL Driving Academy on YouTube, says Simon. Okay, check it out. PK says there's an exemption for South Africans. Don't need to carry a birth certificate. Okay, but you're missing the point, PK. I wasn't talking about, so you misunderstood. I said that the way that they handle kids is they've come up with all these rules for trafficking. I said, I don't know if South Africans are required to carry a birth certificate, and you just confirmed that. But the point was that the South African government is ridiculous. Idris Elba couldn't bring his son in because he didn't have the original birth certificate. What kind of moron? That's what a passport's for. The South African government has signed up the international agreements on passports. They recognize U.S. passports. So to demand, and UK passports, to demand a birth certificate for a child who has a legitimate passport from that country is illegitimate. And the South Africans did that to Idris Elba. That was the point I mentioned the kids thing. Okay. Duncan Arberton, thank you for the 14 Rand. You're welcome. Unabridged birth certificates are required for children going through a single parent. What's your opinion on how the ANC will react when they wake up and realize the refugee program is real? Sean, the typical way they react. Some will be overjoyed and happy that the evil white people are gone, even though it's white and brown people that are leaving. Others will be despondent because they realize that they've shot themselves in the foot. Publicly, they'll criticize the program and say that the U.S. is robbing us of our human capital. But the number of people living in the refugee program is dwarfed by the number of people who emigrate from South Africa on their own volition every single day. Dozens of people leave South Africa never to come back every day for Australia, New Zealand, Ireland, U.S., Canada, UK. Yep. You need birth certificates, guys, for your green card, permanent residency. So stop saying you don't need birth certificates. And it's easier to carry them with you when you leave the country than it is to try to get them sent to you after the fact. Give you a ticket out. That's awesome. Enough for us. Hey, Retha, how's it going? Jordash Ellis. How many people have gone over the USA since the start of the program? Jordash Ellis, that information is not publicly available, but I know that we're in triple digits, but not quadruple digits. So I don't know. Who knows? Nobody knows. So it's concerned that there might be a chance of it happening to us at some point. I'm not sure. And what we're talking about now. Play the long song and chill, Colonel. Yeah, we had 5 people arrive in Alabama the day after I left there. 5 more people in Alabama. Yep. Is the Capitec bank card valid in USA? Well, Dory Smith, if it's a Visa or MasterCard branded card, yes. But you're going to be charged currency fees unless your bank waives that. And you'll have to maintain your South African account somehow. Otherwise, but if it's a Visa or a MasterCard branded card, it'll be accepted all around the world. But we don't have Capitec. That's a South African thing. So you'll get a U.S. bank when you get here. Jordash says, thanks, because I've been waiting since May for them to call me getting worried. Don't be worried, Jordash. Think about the tens of thousands. See, that's the thing that's crazy with this, folks. And we know that at least 70,000 requests had gone in 10 days after because Marco Rubio told that to the Senate in a hearing. He went there and he said, how many people have applied for this since you've announced it? And he said 70,000 have come in. And that was like 10 days after the fact. So that was probably an underestimate. So if 70,000 South Africans, heads of household, had sent in a statement of interest between the 12th of May and the 22nd or 24th of May, whatever it was, imagine how many have sent it in the rest of May, the rest of June, the rest in July, and now we're in August. Quite a few, actually. So there are only a small number of people working on this. It isn't like there's an army here doing this, and it takes time. For those of you who've gone through it, let's do the poll now, okay? We got 850 people now. We're going to do a poll, okay? Let's do a poll, okay? What's going on here? Hang on a second. Shoot, hang on a second. Poll. Have you been contacted by PRM or RSC about Refugee, RESETTLE? Now, I'm not asking what stage of the process you're in. I'm just asking if you've been contacted, okay? Yes or no. It's simple yes or no, okay? Please, everybody answer this so we can get a genuine reflection on what's going on. It's anonymous. Nobody will see it, what you put up here. Why is that stupid? Hang on. I got to reload this page because it keeps showing the clock and the time in Perth. I must have clicked on it and it won't go away. Okay, so the poll is up now, okay? Okay, depends on the mood of person, home affairs. Exactly, Flying Dutchman. Angelique says, no idea what you mean. Your name. Okay. Maisie Kinfori. Our home affairs in different cities clearly do what they want to do. Exactly. That's part of the problem here. That's why we're getting different answers from different people. Okay. Okay. Am I caught up now? No, I'm not caught up. Close. Thanks. Okay. Got that already. Freya. Okay. Diana Thompson. Please tell him we need to keep our colonel safe. What did Lana say? Bruce Erickson, we're concerned if our application were rejected because some of us received a call about 4 weeks ago and we're told we'll receive an email shortly, but nothing. Okay, Bruce, that seems implausible that they would tell you would hear a follow-up and they didn't get with you. I don't know how you check on that. There's no process to check on that, Bruce, and I appreciate your anxiety. I certainly empathize in your case if you waited a month. That seems... I would be worried it got lost in the laundry. That'd be my concern if I were you. I don't know that that's true. It's just my concern. Thank you, Bruce, for sharing that. I definitely empathize with you. There's a way to obtain if you... Okay, I don't know about that. Alan says he's used Capitec for 100%. Yeah, but that's your South African bank account. You got to keep it going. How are you going to pay those bills? How are you going to put money in it? So, just saying. Good evening, sir. Hope all is well. Sorry I'm a bit late to your show. I had a bit of a problem here. I'm sorry to hear about the problem, Ray. I hope it's okay. Okay. Tam says, good evening. Where may we look to find the questions on live chats after the fact? Export file, Substack, perspectives. Not all old followers, a deaf elderly lady unfamiliar with English. Well, Tams, okay, I don't turn the chat off on my streams. YouTube is inconsistent. Every one of my live streams, you should be able to see the chat as you watch it. However, that's not the case in practice. For some reason, sometimes it doesn't show up. It can be very annoying, but I have zero control over that. I can set it so the chat can replay, and I do that. Every video by default says replay. So there's no way to see it other than watch the live streams. Or Thames, go watch the videos. I have a playlist that's all about the has all the refugee stuff on it. The other recommendation is use the Substack, which is a bit out of date now. I haven't updated since the end of May. So Indaba Africa, Substack. I'll get you the link to the refugee program specifically. And the only thing I ask if you go to Substack is please subscribe. Help my Substack grow. I don't charge for access to that. Most people charge you money to see their Substack stuff. I'm a published author and a university lecturer and a consultant who could be charging lots of money, and I don't charge anything for people looking at my Substack. And I have no intention of doing it anytime soon. So just subscribe, that's all. It doesn't cost you anything, but that's up. You can go there and look at start with the videos at the top and work your way down. See which ones interest you, okay? Where we look? Okay, so, my nose is itching here. Who's talking about me? Ugh. Well, German wives' tales. My ex who ran to New Zealand, prepared to do anything to help me. He does not want to leave South Africa. That doesn't make any sense, Lana. My ex who ran to New Zealand prepared to do anything to help me get 17-year-old out. He does not want to leave South Africa. I don't understand that. Your ex ran away to New Zealand and he's prepared to do anything, but then in the next sentence you say he does not want to leave South Africa. Who, the 17-year-old? Lana, are you saying your 17-year-old doesn't want to leave? Is that what you're saying? So your ex, your divorced, your former spouse is living in New Zealand and says, I'll help you get the son out, but the son doesn't want to go. Is that what you're saying? I had to read that 3 times. Well, Bruce, I suspect this is what's happening. You ready for this? Okay. I strongly suspect, and everyone should listen to this very carefully. 850 people listen to you right. Thank you. Well, how do you know that, Marna? It was Lana who said that, not you. Do you know her? Are you the guy in New Zealand? So this is probably what happened to that situation with Bruce Erickson. I strongly suspect, without confirmation, that you're being called by one set of employees who do the initial screening. They fill out the information probably on a computer screen and it gets forwarded to someone else. Now, someone else has got another task to contact people and send emails and set things up. And they're probably swamped because the people calling now, listen to me carefully. The people calling now are calling you for the first time, but there's probably tens of thousands of people at the PRM email and people ahead of you in the queue. And the person doing the screening isn't dealing with those tens of thousands of people. They're dealing with the ones that come in front of them. And then that goes over to the people who are dealing with all of the stuff. Does that make sense? I'm not saying that's the answer, but that's probably what's going on. And so they're probably behind. And she probably meant well by saying it's going to come in a couple of days because that's the standard. But they're clearly not up to snuff. Does that make sense? I suspect that's what's going on here. Okay, Tams, I hope I helped you out. And I hope I answered Bruce's situation there. If you sell your house, you need to sign a power of attorney authorizing someone to act on your behalf. That's a whole separate issue. If the agency wakes up, don't stress about it. The agency will never wake up. Yep. Home affairs requires both parents to apply. Okay. Department of Home. Okay, I'm not talking about that kid stuff anymore. DJ Muller, I have a unique bureaucratic situation where I'm currently basically rendered stateless by South Africa. It would be great spitball situation with you. Can I email you? You can email, sure. DJ Muller, you can email me. I'll try to get to it. I promise I'll get to it as quickly as I can, but it may take some time. Okay, I'm the last of my family in South Africa. My eldest sister and family are in Israel. My other sister's in Texas. If I get turned down, then I would rather move to a war zone than stay here. Well, that's terrible, Leslie. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, it's a poll, not a poll. Thank you, Mace. Expect that it's specific office, okay? My brother has 3 kids. He only needs an unabridged certificate for one of his kids. That's untrue, PK. He needs an unabridged certificate for all of them if they're coming to America. Otherwise, they're not going to get permanent residency. Simple as that. Approximately 915,000 South Africans are living abroad in 2020. That number is not correct. It's a lot more than that. That's not correct. We're talking there's 3.5 million South Africans living abroad easily. No, I don't have to say if you haven't been contacted, then you haven't. It doesn't matter whether you send a statement. But I get where you're coming from, Freya. It takes time. We have to be patient. We're waiting feedback 3 weeks now since we sent back authorization. There you go. Michelle Heath has been contacted and wait 3 weeks. Okay, let me take a look at this. So again, we're back to the point where, yeah, last time I said I think I did the poll. I said didn't send a statement of interest in. So 11% of 500. So that means 60 people have been contacted out of this group. Okay. This is what I found on Google. Yes, you have to apply for an unabridged birth certificate from Washington, D.C. by submitting. Okay, JJ Erasmus, but you're going to trust Google? I would talk to the government and find out. Stupid shines should wear people. I like that backwards. What are the most refugees that America will take in one calendar? There's no such thing, Sandy. I've covered this many, many times. No such thing. They set goals. They set goals. We've taken in as low as 40,000 a year. We've taken in as many as 300,000 a year. They set goals. Typically, the goal is no more than 150,000 per year. DJ Music says, we're contacted on the 13th of April and went for the interview. Well, DJ 13th of April, that was PRM. That's not RSC that's going on now. So I understand your angst. Yeah, it was part of the pilot project. Did you file a statement of interest on the 12th of May, DJ Music? Did you do that? I have a weird situation. Was contacted by both first PM. Yeah, you're not the only one, Loretta. There's a lot of the people that's happening to. You know, refugee program escape. I know, Ingrid. People just, they don't get what's going on here. I've explained this millions of times. Well, not millions of times, tens of thousands of times, just how complicated this process is. I mean, just to do the investigations on every one of you people is quite a bit of effort and takes a huge human capital, resource intensive effort that costs a shitload of money. Sorry for the language. And that's just one aspect of all this. Never mind booking flights, getting your paperwork filed, making sure you've got jabs, all that stuff. It's just a lot involved here. And that's why RSC's gotten involved. But all RSC doing get involved seems to have got people more confused and frustrated. You shouldn't be. A lot of people are making movement now that weren't making movement before. Paul's and Claus, you're not the first one who got the wrong name or wrong parents. I've heard that from a few other people too. JC says, as if HAC knows for a fact that after first call, you wait 1 to 8 weeks with any feedback. Well, that's just anecdotal, unless you work for PRM. On what category does the email land in the inbox? James, I don't know that. It's up to your provider. Yahoo puts a lot of my regular mail in spam. I have to go find it. There's not spam. They're people I correspond with regularly and my bank, and they put it in spam. I mean, that's an IT question. Andres, it doesn't matter whether it's a life or death situation for you. It isn't germane. It doesn't change the process. It doesn't change the speed of the process. It doesn't. I'm not being insensitive. I'm just being honest with you. 11% of 464 votes is already massive so far. Well, last time we did this, we had 900 people answer, and we had over 90 people that have been contacted, but it's probably some of the same people here now. But it's running consistently around 10% of the people watching the program, 10 to 12%. DJ says, sorry, went to the US Embassy on the 8th of April, never heard anything again. Okay, so GJ, you didn't answer my question, but I asked it probably after you posted this, and I'll look to see if you answered since then. Did you do a statement of interest? Northgard, do you think opting for 6-9 month? No, it has no impact. Gosh, you must be new, Northgard. It has no impact. The purpose of 3, 6, 9, 12 months is to gauge when people can go, to get a feel for how many people there are, how many people are interested, because we can't take everybody at once. So some people really can't leave at once. So if they need a year for their child to graduate from high school, then we know that they want to leave in a year. Can process them now and get it all ready, but they won't leave until they're ready to go. So it doesn't diminish your chances. No, that's nonsense. Go Discovery Bank and add a US dollar account. Card costs 200 Rand. So you have a swiping, tapping. Oh, okay, there you go, Rainier Ferreira. Okay, that's helpful. I actually have the information for the financial stuff that I was going to do for the video, but guys, I haven't had time to get around to that. I actually have the information, the research that I needed, and I've got some help from some financial planners in South Africa for me to make a video about the financial, for refugee thing. I need time. And I can't get time when I keep getting thousands of emails, and I'm trying to do my best to answer those emails. Because frankly, when I make the video, I'm just going to get people whining about it. So why take that grief? But I will do the video. Secret Asian man, exactly. Right, and Geo 1984 says it doesn't have any impact. He mentioned 0 to 3 months on the 12th of May. We're past that point. Pat, I've answered that question. Yes, there is help to get your GED. Depends on where you go, and your refugee assistance case officer should help you sort that out. Helen says, I estimate 150 have gone. That's a fair estimate, Helen. I'm not going to dispute that estimate. But see, people just simply ignore the fact that this takes time. And I think there's two things. Number one, the pilot project was necessary to prove that we could do in-country refugee resettlement because we haven't done that in recent history. Gosh, my nose is scratching. So that's why we did that. Okay, that's why the government did that. But then that just created false expectations. Oh, people gone already. Oh, we should all be going now. It takes time to set this all in motion. It takes time to check your dirty criminal backgrounds. And it takes time to get the resource in place. And we're not getting help from these racist organizations like the Episcopal Church who refuse to help with refugee assistance, which limits our ability to take people places because they're racist. They're racist. And they're stupid. They're dumbasses. They're dumb as a brick. Oh, white South Africans. It's not for white South Africans, you retards in the Episcopal Church. You racist Episcopal Church. It's for South Africans suffering unjust racial discrimination. And if you think that it's right for white people to suffer unjust racial discrimination, you're just a bunch of racists. And the program's open to colors and Indians. Are you listening to Episcopal Church? You're a racist. I hope you all rot in hell. Jesus wouldn't treat people that way. God wouldn't treat people that way. You're a racist. Piss on you all. Foot sec. Take it on the arches. Racist. I think I made my position on that clear. Birth certificates was told in Home Affairs that children born after 23 only get a birth certificates. Huh? Okay, whatever. Guys, we don't care. You just have to have all the information on there. We don't have unabridged birth certificates. I've covered this many times. We don't do this is alien to me when you're talking about this. Just have a damn birth certificate with your parents, your date of birth, and your location on there. Done and dusted. Ray says it does make sense. Thank you, Ray. I'm glad that made sense. Okay. Can I take my cattle over? Nope. Jordash, every case is different. If we find something dodgy in your background as a consequence of your activities, then you're going to get more interviews. My mom is 79, ex-teacher. Will she find a job? I don't know many 79-year-olds teaching. I don't think so, Leo. I don't think she's going to find a job. Doesn't mean she can't. There's laws against age discrimination, but I don't imagine a 79-year-old is going to find a job. I mean, it's not impossible. 79-year-olds do work, but I mean, I don't know. Of course, she might be unique. Yeah, you might like rock up my local school district and, and you go apply, but you're not going to have certification. And teaching school certification is a big deal here. That's why I don't teach. I'm not going to go back to school and take all these ridiculous courses in sociology and counseling and all this other nonsense that states require. So I don't think the prospects are strong, but she could teach. Depends on the state where you're at. Percentage contact by RC is the same as asylum seekers accepted. Different programs, though. No, Philip. That's horse manure. How do you draw that conclusion? This is a random audience of people watching a refugee program. I've gone on my other programs where we've had 1,300 people, and we've had 10 or 12% of the people who aren't even interested in refugee stuff. Excuse the numbers. That's... I don't know where you can't make that comparison. That's not even apples and oranges. That's like a plastic wrap and an automobile. Two completely different things. People should also check their junk mail folders. Exactly. I've told people repeatedly to do that. Check your spam folder. Check your spam folder every day and keep it empty. RSC mail will state if PRM contact you prior, PRM will deal with you. They confirm the call. Also, you're part of Operation Pet Lift. You must mention it. Well, Mad Max, that's your case, and that's what you're explaining. Thank you for that. Thank you for the 70 Rand. Rainier says, I have it on good authority that some of the first 59 did not need it. Females, maybe, if they were married. Don't need what, Rainier? You need a birth certificate if you want permanent residency. Fine, don't come with one. And then go back to South Africa after a year because you can't get permanent residency. Well, you don't have to go back after a year. You stay till, but you can't be a permanent resident. You'll be forever refugee until they send you back. Thank you for doing your time answering all our questions. We appreciate it. You're welcome, Kay Janssen from Ensborn. If you have a Social Security number and a passport, why do you need a birth certificate of permanent residency? Because the government requires it, Janine. That's why. I don't make the law for the government. And I didn't know you needed one until we were told you needed one. Social Security number is not a birth certificate. You would think you wouldn't need anything other than a passport. PRM called, had meeting scheduled, date of meeting, they called, so we scheduled. They got an email, no statement of PRM contact. Got Got an email from RC Africa on Friday. Okay, Grim Reaper, thank you for sharing that. Just be patient. All good things come to those who are patient. With the updates since May, they obviously are finding new ways to improve comms as they go along. Soon they'll be... Yeah, let's hope so. I think you're right. Got to get fitness and strength back. Baby steps. Okay, Aaron, just hang in there. Keep improving. Well, Jordish, if you're paying attention to chat, I think people just answered that question several times in the chat. DJ Music completed the statement of interest again. Thank you for that, DJ. Okay. Well, again, DJ, it's a very real possibility that people who were contacting that first group of people, the 100, because you were one of the 100 then, 59 came over, but 100 were interviewed. If you were in that first 100, that's a very small group of people. Some of them have been contacted again, and some of them have come over since then. The rest, I don't know the status. They may have fallen off the table, and that's why I told people to do the statement of interest. If you've done the statement of interest, they'll get to you eventually. So that was for the pilot program. Pilot program's over. Some of those people's names were forwarded. Some may have not have been. I don't know. I appreciate and I empathize your situation. That's got to be stressful. I'm the only South African with a Southern passport and ID number that can't apply for FT program. Arctic, thank you for the super chat. He's saying it's part of the process, so you can't claim all of Africa as your relatives. Oh, for the parents, yeah. Gotcha. To prove who your parents are. Gotcha. And who your offspring are. I don't understand why you can't apply, Alan. Why can't you apply, Alan? You see, you're a South African citizen, unless you're also a U.S. citizen. So, yeah, they don't use the unabridged person. They finally woke up to the 21st century. Thank you for that, PK. Angelique, thanks for your time and patience. You're welcome, Angelique. Yeah, all the information found unabridged is now in a standard birth certificate. There you go. That's why I said, I don't know what this unabridged, what the hell is that? That's some South African thing. We just have birth certificates. Right, I already says, guys, please keep in mind the whole world is trying to find ways to bullshit the U.S. Customs Immigration Service. They take a long time to verify everything. Exactly. See, that's the other thing. All this demands, me, now. And that's not meant to insult anybody. Guys, you gotta pull back and be a little more realistic because, quite frankly, our immigration guys deal with bullshit stories every day. People coming here who aren't authorized, don't have visas, they've got crap, and they got live pangolins in their freaking loot and suitcases and stuff like that, all kinds of stupid stuff. They deal with so much crap every day, and they're part of this process. You don't get to come here till USCIS is dealt with this, and Department of Homeland Security, who they're underneath. And it's a lot to this, but everyone's like, now, me. Look, I empathize with DJ Music having been called in April and then no one gets back in touch with you. That's just rude. Not DJ Music, but the U.S. government. That's just rude. That's not how I do business. I don't do business like that. I have a plan. People who work for me have a responsibility to follow up, and I follow up on them to make sure they're getting it done. That's what I do. And I would have 100% have run down every one of the 100 people we did for the proof of concept and been in contact with them multiple times since May 12th, at least once every 2 weeks to tell them what's going on or if they've been rejected. That's how I would do business. The other people, I would have come up with a program to contact them or posted something on the embassy website to tell them the status of their statement of interest if they process it. We're going through this. We've got this many. But the State Department is acting like the South African government. They're not telling you squat. And it's irritating to no end. And that's why we have all these people. That's why we have all these people in here tonight asking these questions. Because the State Department is being opaque. They're acting like the ANC. Do you think you can pay for flight and rent yourself? PH, yes. That is the normal way things are done. I don't know how it's going this one. It appears that with the people coming over now, the U.S. government is picking up the cost. The normal way this works for a refugee coming out of Kenya who fled from Somalia, who waited 10 years to come to America, they get approved. They don't have any money because they're dirt poor, living in a tent city for 20 years or 10 years. The International Organization of Migration, a UN agency, will pay for their transportation to get them to America or to Germany or the Netherlands, wherever they're going. Then you must repay the loan interest-free, beginning 6 months in installments until it's paid off. That's the norm. A journalist falsely claimed that the IOM said they weren't going to pay for those flights. The IOM refused to comment on that, so we don't know if that's true or not. We doubt they're going to refuse. But right now, we don't even know we even asked the IOM. So right now, to my knowledge, the flights are being paid for by the U.S. government, to my knowledge. That may change. But normally, a refugee is expected to pay their own way for their travel to America, and that's usually through an interest-free loan from IOM. You can purchase your own ticket. You can pay for your own tickets, but you don't book your tickets. That's booked. All that has to be done. You can't just, okay, I'm getting on a Delta flight, or I'm going to fly Emirates to Dubai and come into America. You can't do that. You can't do that. It ain't going to work. You have to go the prescribed manner, and prescribed place, prescribed time, because there's a process. There's people waiting. There's a system that has to be done. Now, can you pay for that flight? You can. I don't know how you do that right now. Ask them. And rent? Yeah, you can pay for your own rent. Absolutely. You got money, pay for your rent. We love that. Department of Home Affairs stop issuing the bridge. Okay, people keep talking about that. I said on the forum I got no passport. Well, no, you won't be rejected, Flamingo, but you better go get one, because you can't leave the country without one. South African laws. My 19-year-old daughter received her UBC and both my ID and her father's on it, but my certificate is an XXX next to my, because I'm 50 years old. I have no idea what you're talking about there, Shelley. What is the XXX? Where's the XXX? Can we ask if there's people in here that have gone over already? There are people in here, Jason. Jay is here. Jay is a refugee. Andres Muller. We applied for a birth certificate, but they refused to give it to us. White people, 6-9 months wait longer, maybe she said. Andres, go to a different Home Affairs office. Deal with people that aren't asses. Gideon, you might be right. They might be the same people in the previous poll. But there's a lot of new names in here, so who knows? If you've applied for normal refugee status or applied through Operation Pet Lift, we must all go through the same process. Okay, first off, you've not applied for refugee status through Operation Pet Lift. If you think you've applied for refugee status through Operation Pet Lift, you've got a rude awakening coming. I don't know how you did that. You have to already be in the process and have put a statement of interest in. You're not going to come over here if you went through Pet Lift is not a refugee program. Pet Lift is not a refugee program. It's not a refugee program. It doesn't get you in a refugee program. No. It's a supplementary, private, non-for-profit organization that is trying to help bring pets over here for people who are in the refugee program. Not the other way around. Maybe you said that inarticulately, but that's the statement. Okay? All right? There's no end date. Gosh, Flamingo, are you like brand new here? You keep asking questions that have been asked since February 7th and answered many, many times. Welcome, by the way, Flamingo Tech, if you're new. Okay, I just don't know why they made such a massive fanfare on TV for the first. No one made a massive fanfare. No one made a massive fanfare on MyZ. No one made a fast. No, who made a massive fanfare? No one did that. MyZ. Nobody did that. The U.S. government didn't tell anybody. I knew. I also knew they were delayed a week. And I interviewed the first refugee in Linwood Bridge before they even left. And then I held the refugees interview until they arrived. They didn't make it. The only thing the U.S. government did is they had a minor press welcome for the refugees at a hangar in Dulles. That's it. That's all they did. Secretary of State Rubio wasn't there. The president wasn't there. The vice president was there. But they make a big deal about it. Your corrupt media made a big deal about it. Your corrupt media made a big deal about it. Lying about it. 49. They're not refugees. They're all farmers. They're not farmers or white people. No one made a big deal about it. U.S. government didn't even tell anybody about it. In fact, as we discovered when I talked to Earl in Alabama last week, their safety was in jeopardy. I already knew that happened. But someone came looking for one of the refugees and threatened people's lives. Yeah. The U.S. made no big deal about this. This was your corrupt media. Desperate to it's not real. It's racist. It's white people. It's evil. Right? We can't let these white people leave this country because they're not victims of crime. They're just a bunch of crybabies. It was your media that did that. U.S. government didn't make any big deal. In fact, the U.S. government is not making any deal of this whatsoever. I mean, we could put the blood pressure cuff on the U.S. government and it would register 0. Not my current 190 over 160. No, we didn't. No one made a big deal about this. It was your corrupt media that did that, and your government officials. Sorry, Micey Kinfori, that's not direct to you. That's the statement. So, if PRM had an online portal, yes, it would, Benj, but that requires money, resources, dedicated personnel, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Do you want to get out, or do you want a portal because you can't wait 6 weeks? No, I'm not trying to be smarty. Just saying. How do people not have access to email if they don't have a job? Did you give them an email from your employer? That was dumb. Don't give your employer's email. You could be fired tomorrow from any job. You need to have a separate email. Yahoo or a provider or Google, something you can take anywhere in the world. You don't give people your work email. That's just crazy. Plus, if you got nosy spies at the company, they'll look at this email server and see who you're talking to. They did contact me, but said I would get a call in 8 weeks for an interview. Okay, thank you, Shelley. Wow, 8 weeks. They gave you some expectation. That was helpful. Amanda is saying apologies. And my position is clear. Even funeral home South Africa complained about how bad most South Africans have kept their affairs and documents in order. My late mother said, if your nose itches, you're going to get annoyed. No, RC Africa doesn't work with Church World Services, Truth Seeker. They work for Church World Services. They work for, not with. Get in your car, go on a road trip. Okay. Erica says it's invitation, not a right. We'll look at Operation Pet Lift again. Couldn't find live chat thread afterwards. Might be there now. I don't know. Let me go look and see if I get it. That's a good question, Tams. Let me go to, and I'll look at that video and see if the live chat replay is there. Like I said, they YouTube, I asked this question about four years ago when Roman was doing live streams. I said, hey, I noticed your live streams are there, but mine aren't. I said, did you change some setting? And Roman Kabanek said, he said, no, YouTube they're capricious. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. And then I looked later on at one of his other live streams and it wasn't there. So he was right about that. Okay, so that would be yesterday. By the way, I had a cool graphic I made for that. Let's see if it comes up. Show chat replay. Okay, let's see. Let's see. It says show chat replay, and I clicked on show chat. Let me reload it and see what happens. Okay, so this is yesterday's video. Okay. Okay, so watch this. I'm going to show you what to do. I'm on a PC, so it's a little different than your phone, but if you're on a phone. But here you go. All right, so this is yesterday's chat. Look at that. I like that graphic. I made that. I love the dog on the blonde-haired lady in the middle with the robust bosom there and the narrow hips or the narrow waist. She's got a doggy on her head right in the middle under pet. I think that's cute. Anyway, so if you go to the right here, it says show chat replay in the gray. Click on that. And it says top replay. I'm going to switch to live replay, and I'm going to start playing. And the chat should show up over there. Let's see.
And then as well, once they get on
and there it is.
Book group, we do have sub-messaging groups where that are regional. So there, we have both. And I don't mind taking any questions.
And there's right there. Indy, Alan, Neville, Leanne Crystal, Daniel Whitfield, Anna Marie Fourie, Marco Wolf. There's Marco. It's right there. So I don't know why people are having trouble. That chat is there. So Tams, I realize that maybe you're technologically challenged, but I've just showed you how to do it. Hopefully that helps you figure it out. But yeah, it's there. It's there, folks. It's there. We can, if you have an Android phone, you have a Gmail account. True. Gideon says, who gave a company's email address? Well, I mean, I don't know that anybody did, but the statement was, people lost their jobs. They don't have access to email. Well, the only conclusion I can get from that is you gave a government email account or you gave your office email account. Maybe it was because they don't have money to pay for airtime. Maybe that was the point, but that wasn't stated. It's the only thing I directly inferred from the statement that people lost their jobs since they sent this thing in and they don't have access to their email. Well, that must be because they used their government, or not government, they used their company email address. NDOG says we have 639 responses. Who is we and responses to what? NDOG. That's not very helpful. Please explain what you're talking about. Erica, my blood pressure is not 190 over 60. I'm being facetious. And I said 160. My veins would be bursting if that was the case. Only a pleasure, Shelley says. It was a huge shock when I got the call, but the lady was extremely helpful. Yeah, that's what I keep getting from people. People are they've been very helpful and very understanding. They help people get information. In fact, one person wrote to me and said there was a bad connection, so they promised to call back, and they did call back. It was a better connection, so cool. Photocopy 1961 bridge certificate, and it doesn't have my parents' names on it. Now you get what DHS calls a full birth certificate. Okay, there you go. Okay. If there's a certain trigger word in the chat, YouTube will not show the chat. That's why we delete that. People misspeak. Maggie, you're funny, Chris. I admire your patience. I don't have high blood pressure, Maggie. Mine is 128 over 68 normally when I'm resting without caffeine. Very cool graphic. Oh, yeah. Candida, thank you. I thought it was pretty cool, too. I like that one. Not reflecting on my phone will revert to desktop viewing. Okay, Thames. Yeah, try that, Thames, and you should be able to follow the chat, okay? All right. Good luck with that, Thames, and please watch that video. I hope that answers your questions, okay? So yesterday I did 2 rugby games after I'd already worked for 2 hours in the morning getting the news ready. Did 2 rugby games, then a live broadcast of my news. So that was 2, 4, 6.5 hours of broadcasting, and I thought I was done. And then I got this message from Marco that Morgan was going to contact me. She did, and she said, "Can we talk about this?" And then I spent an hour doing that. So that's 7.5 hours, and then we spent almost 2 hours doing the conversation about Operation Pet Lift. That's 9 hours. I didn't eat, by the way. I'm not asking for sympathy. I'm just letting you know. So how could I possibly get to emails and answer things? I mean, I spent 9 hours yesterday doing that. 9 hours. By the way, then I don't like Netflix, but I watched the Netflix series, which was a little slow to get started, but it's actually pretty funny now. It's by was it Laurie, the guy that did The Big Bang Theory? But it's called Leanne. It's hilarious. It's about a divorcee. It's pretty funny. Good show. I'm loving it. Whoops. The whole screen's moving here. Sorry. Yeah, so cool. My motto with everything is the refugee program: do what's required, keep your lips zipped, play it close to your chest. There are a lot of haters out there. Exactly, Ingrid. You are spot on. All the stuff we deal with. Am I caught up? Wow, I can't believe I'm caught up in the chat. That's shocking. Okay, so it's 10% of the 655. So about 65 people have been contacted. Okay, cool. When will you start charging? Philip, I did the math. I keep updating. I'm up to almost $200,000 in free consulting. Yep, $200,000. 4 million rand. And people are complaining about 600 rand for passport. I've lost 4 million rand in income. Now, most people didn't have money to pay me, so I never would have made that much. But yeah. I asked before, when do you ever get to sleep? James, I don't sleep often. Replay live chat. The only option is to select top or newest comments. Okay, Karen. Well, that's on your phone. Try it on a PC. Heard the one potato who had recently extremely high blood pressure caused it to turn into a beetroot. Combrick says, I'm hearing claims about 500,000 people having applied. Where are you hearing those claims? There's been no update on how many people have. No, by the way, no one's applied. You guys need to stop using that terminology. Use the correct terminology. You've heard that 500,000 people have submitted a statement of interest, but we have nothing. I have no updates from the State Department, from U.S. government, or anybody that says that. Could be true. Don't know. Those who use the work email for private purposes don't know how dangerous. Yeah, that's very dangerous, expat family. Never use your work email for private purposes. Never, ever do that. I do need to eat, Lana, and I'm starving. And, yep, fortunately, I'm not diabetic, so I don't drift off. Thank you for your awesome programs again, Andre Mostert. You're very welcome. Sedgefield, what's going on, man? Syncmaster, you are a saint, and without your guidance, a lot of us would be. Thank you, Syncmaster, but a lot of people don't like me. They don't like me. They don't like how honest I am. They don't like that I tell the truth. They undermine me. Other content creators lie about me. They steal my content. They steal my ideas. It's comical. Okay, Daniel, you're making an assumption too. That's a better assumption than one we had earlier about, maybe 7,000 been contacted. We have no idea how many people been contacted. Will they contact each adult who submitted a statement individually, or only the head of household? Well, only the head of household should have been submitting one, unless you have adults in the house or not your spouse. So the answer I would give you is they're going to contact every head of household and every adult who submitted one. Does that make sense? 20 May, just going on with life while waiting. Okay, Peter Funsell. All right, good attitude. Hopefully you'll get a call. One thing I've learned, don't ask Colonel when you sleep or you're angry. Nah, we're fine. Set reminders to eat and take time out. I don't forget to eat, Maze. I have not forgotten to eat. I know to eat. I'm just bleeding myself dry for y'all. And if you think you're special, you're not. I did the same thing for my country. I did the same thing for people around the world. When I was in Liberia, I worked 12 to 18-hour days, 7 days a week, the entire time I was there for a year and a half. Yep. And I loved it. I didn't love working those hours, but I loved what I was doing. I was making a difference. And the proof in the pudding was with how things went during the Ebola crisis and when they did peacekeeping. That was a professional military that executed very well. Now, maintaining that's going to be hard. That's up to them. But the army that I left in place when I left there did what it was supposed to. It obeyed the law. It obeyed civilian leadership. It contributed to civil society, fixed roads, fixed bridges, the engineering assets, set an example for the public, provided income for the soldiers in there, and gave them something to aspire to and achieve. And then when it was needed for peacekeeping, it succeeded. When it was needed in response to the Ebola crisis, it succeeded. So I've always given it my all in everything I do. I don't half step on anything. That's why I knocked on 3,000 doors on foot last year before I couldn't walk when I ran for the office, state legislature, because people asked me to run. And I spent $22,000, $400,000 ran out of my own life savings to run for office. That money's gone. Nobody's giving it back to me. I'm not crying about it. I'm just saying that I gave it my all. And I don't half step on anything. And I don't half step on this. So, well, they're just crap heads and they can't handle the truth. You're right about that. I know it's an assumption, but looking at how at the row, I make an assumption that 50 per day was been reached. Yeah, that's not an unreasonable number, 50 per day. That'd be 250 per week. That's not unreasonable. I would hope it's more, but I suspect that might be fair. Chris says power naps, they normally last 40 seconds. I learned from Chuck Norris, yep. What did Meisekin say? I do understand our corrupt media. I'm with you on that. I'm just asking out of curiosity, why did the U.S. do a press release? Well, it wasn't a press release. They just allowed the press to come for the welcome. It was a mid-level, senior, but, and someone nobody knows, Undersecretary of State who was there just because it needed to be done. They're not hiding it. So they did the first batch. But they're keeping it quiet now for security reasons and also to give the ANC the middle finger, as was said by, I think, Arctic or somebody like that. Yep. Partner no longer wants to go. Is there a way I can let them know myself? And HP, you let them know when you get interviewed. Unless the partner... Okay, well, first off, the partner was never going to go anyway. So stop. HP, your partner was never going. Partners don't go. Spouses go. So now I'm curious, HP, did you file a statement of interest and your partner filed one, or did only your partner file one? If your partner's the only one to file a statement of interest, you might very well be screwed. Because if your partner is vindictive and doesn't want you to go, and they did the statement of interest as a head of household, which they're not, you're screwed. You have no entry in there. Because if they get contact, they'll say, I'm not interested anymore. And you're, my fuck Marlies, that's the situation you're in. So, HP, the question is, did you file a statement of interest? Because partners are not married. You're not a family. In the eyes of the law, you don't count. Does that make sense? Now I need to know, HP, did you file a statement of interest? You can't go anywhere to answer this question now. Oh, I didn't see it earlier. Okay, Napoleon. Okay. Oh, it's right there. Sorry, I didn't finish reading it. Okay, well, don't I feel like a deuce? Don't I feel like an idiot now? Okay, we both submitted our statement of interest. Don't want him to ruin it for us out of spite. Well, he can't. Okay. All right. I'm the fool. Okay. All right. Let me get some sugar in me here, okay? Because I'm the one that's acting like a fool. Thank you, HP. You actually answered the question already, and I made you answer it again. I owe you a super chat. Here you go. How stupid was that of me? It was at least 10 Rand super chat, right? Okay. 20. Here's a 50. Here's a 50. Okay. So, all right. Maybe 100. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what, HP, that was so stupid to me that if I see you, it's 200 Rand super chat. You're going to get a 200 Rand super chat from me in person, in cash, when I see you, because I was stupid. Okay? All right? Fair enough? Fair enough, HP? But you're going to have to contact me. Tell me who you really are. Because I'm not just going to walk around handing out 200 Rand to everybody. So when I see you in person, I'll give you 200 Rand. And if you happen to be an American, I come across you, I'll give you the equivalent of 200 Rand. Which by the time you all get here, that'll be like $3. Okay? That's on me. That was just dumb. I should have read the whole message. Gosh, I feel like such an idiot. Wow. HP, are you still there? Thanks for your time, says Angelique. Napoleon Dynamite. Yeah. So the answer to your question specifically, HP, don't worry about your partner screwing you. Okay? They have to if you submitted one as a head of household, they're going to have to contact you. Okay? All right. Cool beans. All right. Evening, I was told they will fly to Cape Town to interview him and his wife here. They will let him know when and where in the coming week. Who will fly to Cape Town, Peter? Who will fly to Cape Town? I don't know who they is. You need to tell me who they is. You know, I'm not surprised you had to repeat primary school. Just not surprised. You were probably a troublemaker in school, too. HB says, no, I'll give you the super chat, man. I'll give you the super chat. And thank you for being your patience as I was being a bit of a clown there. 200 be the price of a bread by December. Could be. All right. I worked in Guinea back in the day when the country was taken over by a military coup and we were evacuated Monrovia. I remember U.S. patrols in the streets. Oh, wow, Gideon. That's pretty cool. They called me. Then they emailed me the case number. They called me to interview me. I'm waiting for my physical interview. Well, there you go, Marceline Sapp. Congratulations. Cool beans. What was the time frame? You mind sharing that with people if you can? Colonel, should I tell them my brother's in Canada and has been there? I don't see how it's relevant, Yolande. How is it relevant? It might come up in the course of conversation, but I don't see how it's relevant. My fiance, if they ask you, tell them the truth. But I mean, I don't know how it's relevant to the conversation. And I both submitted on opening day. We've gotten married since then, and we both got the email within minutes of each other, and she was already called, but the call was disconnected. Ah, shame. Well, they should try to call back then. Well, congratulations, Truth Seeker, on your wedding, I think. They keep nuclear families together. Thanks, but a nuclear family is married. Oh, that's dangerous. Pointing people. Nuclear families married, not partners. None of this UK, my partner. It's either your spouse or it's not. Okay, Yolanda says, brilliant. Thanks for everything, all the hours, a little sleep. More people love you than there's haters. Well, that's true, Loretta. That's pretty cool. I'm being picked on again. Those feelings are hurt. Do you meet all the refugees? Do I meet all the refugees, Tony? No. How could I possibly meet all the refugees? Do I meet with people at my meet and greets? Yes, I do. Shout out to the chat warriors who silenced the stupid questions. May Abba, Father, bless you in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Well, thank you, Meave. Yes, I meet as many refugees as I can. I've met lots of aspiring refugees, and I've met lots of South Africans that have no interest in the refugee program, which is fine. It's just fine. Misprint on my end. What I meant to say is if you're with Operation Pet Lift, you still need to apply. Oh, okay, Matthew. Your message came across with a different point. Quid says thank you. Really appreciate everything you've done. Help me and get my facts straight and have an honest answer. You're welcome. Will CNN notify you when they post the interview with Errol? Mad Max, that is part of a documentary that the anticipated release date for that, an Anderson Cooper documentary, will be in November, probably around the G20 summit. That's when that's going to happen, okay? So they are doing lots of other research and going lots of other places, all right? Wedding to attend next week. Okay, because of the refugee program. That's good to know, okay? A cat visit your house. A cat? Oh, any cats coming here. No cats. All right, we're going to wrap it up after 2 hours on a Sunday, folks. I don't see if it's too late for me to get crabs. Mad Max says, awesome, looking forward to that. Okay, not a refugee question, but I'm curious. Well, there's also something else I'm working on that will be released in January. So that's kind of under my cap. I'll let you know about that when I can. I'm curious as to 51 intelligence officials will be questioned. Holden Caulfield, I'm also questioning when these people will be prosecuted. They'll be prosecuted for misusing their titles. So I cannot run around and blitz everywhere and say, I'm Colonel Wyatt on official documents. I can't write letters and put Colonel Wyatt on there. I have to put Colonel in parentheses retired. You'll notice my signature block always says retired. My description says retired. Everywhere I describe myself as a colonel, I say retired. Because representing myself as colonel would emphatically imply and state that I'm active duty, which I'm not. And there's a difference. So these intelligence officials misrepresented themselves and should be prosecuted, in my view, Holden Caulfield. Absolutely. They should also be prosecuted for federal elections interference. Absolutely. Okay. Goodbye, Stan. How you doing, Stan? How's the family? See you in the next one. Okay, HP, thanks for being here. Documenting everything from my email and call all the way to my resettlement. Give it all to you. Okay, cool. That'd be pretty cool, Quids. Okay, Jay, have a wonderful evening. Should we leave with Alabama Heat? You guys want to hear Alabama Heat on the way out? Yeah, I need a shower, Rita. Oh, you're itching. I need a shower. It's been a long day. Alabama Heat on the way out, okay?
Alabama heat
Love this song.
melts the road to gold.
New faces arrive with stories untold.
The air is thick, but the dreams are wide.
South African hearts crossing the tide.
Safe in liberty's embrace, where the stars and stripes find space. Sweat rolls down, but the hope runs deep. Alabama heat, Alabama heat. They carry talent in battered bags. No corruption,